my mom's basement in Victoria, Minnesota.
What was that, about 20, 30 miles southwest of Minneapolis, something like that?
I'd say it's about a 35, 40-minute drive, yeah.
Okay. Frank, you know, obviously what we've been talking about, the murder of George Floyd on May 25th, and the events and the passions and all that's ensued since then. I wonder, from your team meeting this week, you know, what do you think that came out of it? What was your reaction to it? And from your standpoint, what did you learn or have reinforced or, you know, brought home to you maybe that you didn't really know or fully understand? And what will you take going forward from that session?
Yeah, obviously, I think we can all agree that it was absolutely not wrong, absolutely disgusting, hard to stomach watching that video, and just hard to stomach that that's a reality in our country today. And the team meetings this week have been very unique, especially from the perspective of myself as a kid a white kid who grew up in suburban / country privilege. I mean, I'll say I was a privileged kid. I had a very great upcoming, and I've never had to worry about things that some of my black brothers in that locker room have had to worry about. And just uncomfortable hearing them in that team meeting talk about situations that have happened throughout their life that they have to think about. That, I guess, obviously I was aware that there was a problem in this country, and I knew we are not perfectly united as a country, but I'm sick to my stomach the things that I have heard from some of my teammates and some of my friends and some of my brothers that they have to worry about and they have to deal with. And it's been very eye-opening, very uncomfortable, very real. And I've just been trying as a white person, just trying to listen and trying to just let them know and let really every black person know that I don't want to be a part of that problem anymore. I want to be there with them. And I know I can't really ever put myself in their shoes, but man, I want to help make it better. And that's kind of been the theme this week in our meetings is we're all trying to learn, we're all trying to listen, and we're all trying to be together.
Mikey?
Frank, thanks for your time, man, and some good stuff there that you just said. I'm just curious, you have an interesting perspective as a guy who's so close to the center of this whole thing, at least currently. And I'm curious, one, Frank, what was your reaction the first time you watched the video? If you can walk me through that. And then what's it been like being so close to Minneapolis? What's it been like being so close to where this is going down for you?
Yeah, watching the video, like I said, I mean, what do you say? It's disgusting, inhumane, anger. I mean, just confusion. Like, how is that even a reality today in 2020? I mean, there's so many good things in this world, and how is that even a reality? It's just a lot of confusion. That was kind of my reaction, just like, what the heck, you know? And being so close to the Minneapolis, and obviously that I'm in Minnesota right now, I think it's just been I guess as a privileged person, I guess it's made it more real and it's opened my eyes even more. And I think it's a shame that it took it being this close to me for me to open my eyes, but I'm happy that my eyes are open now. Just being able to realize like how people are in so much pain and so sad, and I guess see familiar areas and see a lot of kids and friends of mine being part of you guys watch the news and there's a lot of riots and stuff. There's a lot of good things happening right now in Minnesota. Peaceful protests, great gatherings honoring George Floyd. And that's been the cool part to see people rally, see a lot of my friends rally from high school, in my neighborhoods trying to help. And, but it's been a very eye-opening experience where I'm just trying to figure out the best way we can all help for a long-lasting change, and I'm just trying to listen and be there.
If I can just sneak in one quick follow-up too. Again, more good stuff, Frank, and I appreciate it. We just talked to Duron Harmon a couple hours ago, and he was saying it's way too early to project what's going to happen in the season, but he was saying he anticipates there will be some kind of silent protest. Do you anticipate joining something like that if and when it occurs this season?
Yeah, I'm 1,000% sure that Coach Patricia will make some sort of scheduled meeting or something to get the whole team to discover and talk about how we want to go about this. But all I can say right now is I will 100% support all my brothers, especially after this week. But before, I mean, it's the color of your skin, and you have to listen to the message. I think if any of you guys don't follow Trey Flowers, he released an amazing video. Just when he talks, man, it hits me, and I very highly recommend you go listen to that video. And it's about the message. So I am 1,000% supporting them.
Thanks a lot, Frank.
Yep.
John Macroon.
All right. Frank, thanks for taking the time to talk about these issues. I really do appreciate it. I do have a football related question. I'm just curious how excited you are about the potential of the running game this year with Kerryon, DeAndre, Bo, along with Ty and Jason. Seems like the potential for a solid rushing attack this year.
Yeah, I'm always excited about the thought about running the ball. And obviously we added some weapons. It's kind of been an emphasis in coach since I've been here and with Coach Patricia. And I'm definitely excited to see what we can do this year. But the one thing that running the ball is all about is the toughness. It's the hard work. It's the dirty work. And that's kind of something that we can all, even though it's different virtually and different on our own, we have to take it day by day. And I'm just trying to work my tail off individually here in Minnesota in my mom's basement, trying to get to be the strongest, toughest guy I can be so that we can help and we can pound the rock this fall. But I'm definitely excited with the weapons we've added, and I'm always excited about running the ball.
Dave.
Hey, Frank, good to see you. Thank you for joining us and for sharing your thoughts on all this. I was just curious, like Kyle said, being so close, have you gone out to any of the protests, and why or why not? And has there been anything in your town, a half hour away? I know some of these are starting to reach the suburbs, some of the protests now. So
I haven't made it out to anything, but we've had a lot of how would you even put that? We've had a lot of drives where people are raising money and collecting supplies, and me and my fiance have been able to donate some supplies and some money to some different fundraisers. And my fiance is actually going out tomorrow to help hand out supplies, so that's very cool. And what was the second part of your question?
Well, I was curious if any of the protests had reached, your area. Some of them are starting to leave the cities now and reach the suburbs. So
there hasn't been anything in my area as far as I'm concerned, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mike Rothstein.
Hey, Frank. Thanks for talking and for sharing your thoughts. Kind of want to follow up on something you said earlier when you're kind of listening. What are you learning about maybe yourself and your privilege and what you're trying to do differently from hearing the stories of your teammates?
I just I'm learning about how many things I go about in my daily life that I don't have to think about, that maybe a Black person, a person of color would have to double think about. I guess things that I take for granted that I guess I knew there was discrimination and stuff in this country, but I guess I just didn't realize the day-to-day, the second-to-second issues that my teammates, friends, brothers have all had to go through. And that's been the most eye-opening and heartbreaking to me.
Wojo?
There we go. Frank, in the midst of all this horrible turmoil and the death of George Floyd, there's still also the pandemic going on or fading at least, and you guys are going to be going back to work as well. Do you have any trepidation about safety concerns going forward now with the actual football, as far as measures in place to protect you guys? How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I'm a 24-year-old kid. I don't know any better. I guess I just want to be protected like every other person in America would be protected, but I'm definitely eager to get back to work. I'm not smart enough to answer that question, but hopefully I'm healthy and as safe as the NFL can make us. I'm all for it.
Got time for a few more questions, guys?
I have one more, if I could, Frank. Was there one when you talked with your teammates and you said you mostly listened and they told stories? Was there one thing from one particular teammate, one incident, one thing he said that stuck with you more than anything else?
I would say it's hard to put a thumb on one specific incident. There's been so many stories and so many remarks that have really stuck with me. Yeah, I couldn't say one in particular. Sorry.
It's okay.
So John Neo, then Tim.
Hey, Frank, thanks again for doing this. I'm curious, have you thought about what it's going to be like? I mean, this has all been happening virtually, these meetings and people sharing their stories, et cetera. Have you thought about what it's going to be like to sort of physically be together and how that dynamic is going to feel?
Are you asking in terms of
in terms of some of the conversations? In terms of some of the
Oh,
conversations that have happened, just some pretty raw emotional sharing of thoughts on race and et cetera. I wonder how you think that might feel when it's in person.
Well, I think it needs to continue. That's 1,000%. It can't stop here. And in person, it'll be good to. I mean, you can feel raw. I can't believe how many raw emotions I've felt through a webcam this week, but in person, I imagine it's going to be even more. And I'm looking forward to those discussions, and I think it'll be good. It'll be uncomfortable, and I think us as white people, Coach Patricia always says about just competing and just in general, ultimate competitors get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think us as white people need to get comfortable being uncomfortable so we can figure out this issue. And I'm sure there's going to be some uncomfortable moments, some learning, some understanding, but in the end, it's got to be all for the positive and all for making change. So I look forward to being able to hug some guys, obviously Corona style. So we'll see how that'll be, but I look forward to it.
Thanks, Frank.
Tim?
Hey, Frank, good to see you. After we talked, we drafted Jay Sean. We talked to him, and he said you guys kind of grew up together. You guys went to a lot of those camps together. I'm just curious, have you guys connected at all during this, worked out at all, and what kind of football player are the Lions getting in him?
Jay Sean, when Jay Sean and I met, I'm a year older than him, so I must have been a junior, and he was a sophomore. And we got connected through a familiar face. But anyways, we kind of went on the recruiting circuit together. We went to a few schools. We actually went to the University of Michigan together, I believe, and we went to a few other camps and stuff, and got recruited. He was a highly recruited player, so it was a benefit for me just to be around because he was at one point the #1 player in the country. So it was cool just me getting to hang out with him. But he's a great person, first off, great dude, and I'm proud as heck as the kid. He's a hard worker, and he definitely wants it. That 1-2 is definitely there. So I look forward to seeing how he does as a Lion.
All right, we got time for 3 more. We'll go Woody, Chris Burke, and back to Kyle.
Thanks a lot, guys. How you doing, Frank? Good to see you.
Sorry.
My question is this, getting back to some of the social unrest stuff, how do you keep it in the forefront? Because once things get rolling along with the season, sometimes a lot of this can get put on the back burner. How do you maybe want to take steps to keep it in the forefront and keep pressure on so that change comes?
We've had that. I think that's like we've had those discussions, and I think one of the main keys is discussion. And from my perspective, just listening, and then there's been a lot of great minds. Someone said this in the meetings this week. There's been a lot of great minds trying to fix this problem in our country in a long time, and it's obviously still a problem. So this is something it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen just like that. And I think we just need to find our ways to eliminate racism, eliminate and wipe it out as a whole. And I don't have the answers for you. I don't have the solution. I just think we just need to keep it in the discussions, keep it relevant, keep it in the loop, take actions, whether it's voting or whatnot, but we need to keep it relevant until it's gone, to be honest.
Chris?
Oh, sorry. Hey, Frank, just sort of echo everyone else, say thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it. Like you said, you're obviously coming at this from a different spot than some of your black teammates, but what's the discussion been like in terms of just what the responsibility is as football players, as public figures, to continue this conversation and be part of this conversation?
Well, yeah, we have a platform, and I think all of us, as even with my platform, but all of you guys, anyone who's white, the challenge that my teammates have brought to me, that I've one of the messages I've got is it has to be not in the public spotlight. Like, it's easy for anyone like me to come out and say, I'm against racism, I'm against everything, but I have to be holding my friends in a private conversation accountable. I have to be holding my neighbor who might have said something that's not acceptable. I have to hold them accountable. And that's the uncomfortable in this, because when you're in those comfortable situations, I guess that's when it comes out. And that's where we, as white people, have to rally behind black people, because that's how we eliminate it. We eliminate it when people think they're most comfortable, and we make them uncomfortable with it, and we make it not okay. And with my platform and with our platform in the NFL, people look up to us, people listen to us, and people follow us, and people idolize us. And we can be on the forefront. And how we do that is we set the example. We walk the walk. We don't just talk the talk. And we try to solve these problems. We try to get those answers, and we try to be the right examples, because another way that you have to teach your kids the right way. I'm a 24-year-old with no kids, but people with kids need to teach their children that skin color doesn't matter. And that's another thing. And I think there's so many different branches, but us us with this platform, we need to exhaust every single road, every single branch we possibly can until it's gone.
Thank you.
Little last question, Kyle.
Frank, thanks again for your time, taking the time out from fishing to give us a chat. It's been some good stuff on white privilege in particular, I think. And I'm just curious, I don't know what your position was on kneeling back in 16 and 17, but what was your position then? Has it evolved as you've become more attuned maybe to, the racial dynamics in the country?
I was in college, I believe. Here's what white privilege, I feel like some white people get defensive when people say white privilege. White privilege doesn't mean you've had a privileged life. Doesn't mean you've had no trouble, no problems, no adversity. It just means your skin color hasn't caused that problem. And what I've been able to learn from a bunch of very smart people, a bunch of people who are being impacted by this, is that I just need to listen. And the message has never been, like, I'm a proud American. I am a proud American, and I believe this is the greatest country in the world. But just because something's the greatest country in the world doesn't mean it can't be improved. And people need to understand that. There's always room for improvement. So I will do whatever. These are my friends, my brothers, my teammates, my college roommate, one of my best friends with Nate. These people need my help, and I will do whatever it takes to improve this country.
So just to be clear, does that, if your teammates are kneeling, is that something that you would be open to in 2020?
That's something that we'll definitely discuss. I mean, I can't guarantee anything. I think what I can say is I will be 100% support of them, and I don't want to jump ahead that far, but I want to talk with my team, and I think we'll discuss. We'll come up with some sort of plan to be able to support them.
Yeah, understandable. Thanks, Frank.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks again for everyone's time this afternoon.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
Frank, we appreciate it.
Stay healthy. Stay safe.